Yeah.
We're back.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the African Fighters. I'm your host, Jabril, and today we have a very special guest, the very first time. Before I get into telling you who his name is, you probably already know who his name is when you saw the link before you clicked on the video, but it's the Turbo himself from South Africa, but right now in New Jersey, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he is the
We're in Long Island right now.
All right.
That's all right.
Long Island. All right, my bad. He's the Cage Fury Flyweight champion, currently undefeated from amateurs to pro. It's Phumi Nkuta. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hold the phone real quick.
All right, that's the title. She's trying. Did you polish it up before the interview?
You know what? I actually didn't clean it. It's just this bright.
Oh dear. I think even if you move to the big league, which is the UFC, you probably will still keep that as a trophy, wouldn't you?
Oh, of course. I'm gonna have it mounted somewhere at some point, but for right now, I gotta bring it everywhere with me.
Right. Well, when you eventually move and you obviously relinquish the title, would they ask for the title back, or are you keeping it?
Oh no, this is mine, my friend. This is not going anywhere.
Okay.
They could. I wouldn't give it back to them even if they asked. Come on, man.
Okay, so after your first defense, did you get another title, making it 2, or is it still the first one?
Yeah. This is actually the second one. They handed me this title in the ring. I go back. They hand me like a little case to hold the belt in.
All right.
Oh man, the way they do it in CFFC is nice, man.
Nice.
And these belts are heavy too. These are real belts.
Oh dang, that's nice. That looks very beautiful. It's one of the prettiest titles out there. I tell you so. All right, so
I like it.
Yeah. We're just gonna start real quick for the African fans that are curious about you. They want to know how connected you are to them. So do you mind telling us just a little bit brief history of yourself? Not really history, because history sounds like a long deal. Just a tip of who you are and your connection to the motherland and where you are right now.
Yeah. So my mom is originally from South Africa, Eastern Cape. Family's from Mount Fletcher.
All right.
She came when she was 19 and was looking for opportunity. The apartheid was going on at the time. It was very, very tough struggle for her. So, to create an opportunity for me and my brothers, she flew out to this side, graduated, college with a 4.0. She's genius. And then gave birth to me and my brothers, and we're still very connected. It's really just us, and I think my cousins and my aunt in Canada. Everybody else is in South Africa. So yeah. So we see family. It's always good visiting. We usually, because of the coronavirus, we haven't been able to come too often, but we're usually over there. It's always fun.
All right, great, fantastic. I'm sure they'll be happy with that. The curious fans that we have, they'll be happy with that. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. Your last fight with Miguel Diaz, initially you were supposed to fight Santo, who got called up by the UFC to the Dynamite Contender Series, and then and the fight fell off, and then obviously Miguel Diaz jumped straight into it, but people seem to give him credit for taking a short fight instead of like you also doing the same thing. So I would want to know what was your motivation into accepting a short notice fight like that?
Oh man, it's the fact that we gotta go. At this point, man, I don't care who I step in that ring with. I'm trying to rack these wins up, man. I want to prove to everybody that I'm the best in the world. That no matter who you put me in the ring with, Miguel Diaz, Santo Curatolo, Alberto Trujillo, or even Brandon Moreno in the UFC, I'm going to be untouched, I won't get hit, and I'm not getting taken down, baby.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Well, speaking about being best in the world, you were standing there in your octagon interview with the best in the world, CM Punk. And you were kind of shy to tell him I'm the best in the world. Or you were like, I was trying to be the best in the world because he was there. Well, I get that. Well, I always speak with my friend. I was talking about with the potential, the fighters that have the biggest potentials, like African fighters heading into the UFC direction. You seem to be Actually, the only person that could hold a mic to you right now, I think, is Izzy. No cap. For
you
real,
know what?
bro.
That's good, man. That's good. That's good. Keep me with good company.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, your answers, your mic skills, top notch. And speaking about your fighting style, we know that your fighting style is wrestling heavy. We know about your and about the killers you train with in Serra Longo. You always talk about it, and well, the media always talk about it. You training with Aljo and the crazy guy Mirab.
Marab.
Yeah. So do you mind telling us how your journey into combat sports, how it started, what skill you developed before you ended up being with the guys at Serra Longo?
Yeah, it started, when I was young. I just caught a very, very keen interest into the sport of MMA when I was like around 12 or so. And at first I just wanted to learn kickboxing because I thought that was always so cool. But then a couple years later, I started realizing, wow, the jiu-jitsu is a huge aspect of this game. So I joined a jiu-jitsu school. And then finally after that, I was able to join the wrestling team. So I kind of had a little bit of everything before I went to Serra Longo. But that's the thing, man. When you're working with Ray Longo, greatest striking coach of all time, Matt Serra, at this point in the game, at least in jiu-jitsu, he's the greatest MMA jiu-jitsu coach of all time. And then on top of that, you got Aljamain Sterling, UFC champion, Rob Davalishvili. The guy's going to have the most takedowns in UFC history soon. But then you got, the guys you guys don't even know about, the Steve Lees, the Anthony Delemies, the Pomposes, Dennis Bazookias, guys that I get to work with in the gym day in, day out, man. It really is a team sport. A lot of guys, they think you just walk in there by yourself, but it's because of those guys, that I'm where I am today, that I can say I'm undefeated, that I can say I'm untouched, and that I got this belt, man,
Yeah, fantastic stuff. So, well, I've always told my friend that your addition into the UFC flyweights is it's like that seasoning that is absent in there because it's kind of been stale for a minute,
I'm telling you, you're even saying it now, man. I just know I would bring something so different to that flyweight division. All I need is the opportunity.
Yeah, I see. So, speaking about you getting the opportunity, well, I do know, well, you being with the likes of Matt Serra, I know obviously the conversations have been going on with the UFC, maybe. But do you think that you would just head into the UFC without going through Dana White Contender Series, or how do you see your path to the UFC going to be like?
At this point, man, I kind of let go of all that. If you try and control the path, you might miss the opportunities when they actually come your way. Or you might not be ready for them because you're waiting for another opportunity. I'll tell you what, first things first, I'm in that gym every single day. Mm-hmm. We delayed this interview because I was just in the gym getting rounds in at Serra's. So at the end of the day, man, I'm just going to stay in the best shape I can be. I'm going to, keep my weight around where I need to keep my weight and just be the martial artist I am, man. And whenever that call comes, mm-hmm. It could be for the Contender Series. It could be short notice fight on a fight night, or it could be in one of the MSG pay-per-views coming up. You know what I'm saying?
Dang.
As long as I get that call, I'll be ready.
Yeah, that MSG show has an African on top of it in Kamaru Usman. Speaking about Kamaru Usman, it just came to my mind. Like, I would like to take your prediction about that fight. How do you see that fight going with Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, if you don't mind?
You got to give Colby Covington his credit because he is one of the best welterweights around. Top-notch guy, great striking, good cardio, good wrestling. I just think Kamaru Usman, man, he's turning the corner, and he's just almost getting better and better and better. Now, he's out striking other strikers at this point, man. I think his striking at this point is about as scary as his wrestling. And while I think Colby Covington's very good, he can't say the same thing. Kamaru can put you down inside of 2 rounds, with those hands. So I got Kamaru Usman winning. I think the wrestling might be nullified a little bit, but his stand-up skills are too good, too powerful. Belt's going back to Nigeria.
Well, if you haven't noticed, I'm wearing a Nigerian tracksuit here, so
I see it. I see it. I like it.
fully represented. I would not argue with that. I would not argue with that. I totally agree with everything you say. But I'll just circle back to you now with what you mentioned, Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno, I think, has his third fight with Figueiredo coming up soon. I think this December. Yeah. But looking into the UFC flyweights, is there any matchup that interests you?
Man, I mean, obviously, I would love that Brandon Moreno fight, but I think a fight with Oscar Askarov would be a fun fight for the fans. He's also a good wrestler, but he keeps a fast pace, keeps a high pace, you know, compared to a lot of these other flyweights, man. And he's also undefeated, so getting to show the world that, you know, I'm the best guy, that there's nobody in the planet better than me, nobody's going to be undefeated around here in these flyweights other than me, and going against a guy with that pace, that level of skill, I would love that matchup, man. Me and him, I think, would be a fun fight for the fans and a great stylistic matchup for me.
Because speaking about him being undefeated, when anybody looks into your topology page or your stats, we would notice that you've been taking O's. You've been taking O's from your amateur to your. I think the recent fighter you had that was undefeated was just your last fight. That was not undefeated. If you understand, he has one L. So great stuff. But I'm just gonna ask you about what do you think about the MMA scene going on in South Africa right now? I don't know if you notice of that.
Follow. Yeah, I follow, man. No, it's very good, electrifying. I know EFC was even just yesterday too, man. So yeah, they're almost carrying the flag for everybody, and I even see the amateurs are stepping it up too. The huge SA tournament that was just earlier this year for the amateurs, man. Yeah, I'm loving it, top to bottom. You're seeing the MMA and SA is really stepping it up, man.
Yeah, I've been telling my friend that the MMA fans in South Africa, they're the smartest. They have the smartest MMA fans in South Africa compared to every other part of Africa. Because, well, MMA being a new sport growing, I think South African fans are catching up quicker than the rest of us. So, but speaking about, I just want to talk about UFC Africa and a potential fight card that's probably going to happen in there, maybe in the next year or two. What do you think about UFC Africa happening in South Africa, and would you love to be on that card?
I mean, it's got to happen in South Africa. No, I mean, I see it only because we just that big AT&T Stadium, 100,000 strong. You remember that stadium? You know that stadium? My goodness, you imagine just 100,000 strong. Izzy, Kamaru, Usman, Francis Ngannou, Turbo on the card. It would be this generation's Rumble in the Jungle.
Exactly,
I think the greatest card of all time.
That's it. Rumble in the Jungle. That's what we're looking for. We can't wait. UFC going to South Africa, but also what we cannot wait for is to see you in the UFC. That would be amazing. We do know that the press conferences wouldn't be boring, and we do know that the fans would never boo your fights because, man, Turbo. So lastly, I would I'm just gonna round up here because I don't want to take too much of your time. So speaking about your career in fighting, what do you have a goal, or should I say, what's your motivation? What's your end goal in the game of fighting? What do you want to see happen to your career?
Look, man, I'm not just one of those guys that wants to just make it to the UFC and say he was a UFC fighter. I'm not just one of those guys that just wants to win a UFC championship and just say, oh yeah, I won my belt and go home, man. I'm here for it all. I want greatest of all time. I want to be up there with the Mighty Mouses and the Khabibs and the George St. Pierres and the Anderson Silvas, man. That's what I want. That's what I'm working for.
Right. I think I saw somewhere you were mentioned, or did you call yourself Black Khabib or something like that? Was that you?
I think I did call myself Black Khabib. That sounds like something I would say.
Yeah, straight out of Smash Factory. Right. Yeah. So for me now, we have a few African fighters from back in the motherland that actually train and aspiring to be fighting in top promotions. So I would like you to, if you don't mind, give them a bit of advice. What words would you have for them, the guys that are struggling to make it into the sport?
I'd say one, make training a priority and training in every area. You always want to be, you don't just want to be aware on your feet. You want to be aware on the ground. You want to be aware in wrestling transitions. You want to be one step ahead of everybody anywhere. If you're already hitting the mat, you want to have your first move ready just like that. If you're on your way back up, you want to have your move ready to go before he does. So I'd say that takes a lot of drilling. That takes a lot of hard work and a lot of hours in the gym. Two, perseverance and finding a good team, because, if you have that first aspect and you have other people around you who have that aspect and other people who just won't quit when the going gets tough, who even when, I guess they could phone it in, could pack in the chips, they can keep on going. Because man, sometimes, man, you want it to be your time, but it's just not. And, I've seen some fighters think they made it to the top and then they lost. Right. But then they never gave up and still kept climbing, still kept working, and then eventually made it to the top. So I'd say be diligent with your work ethic, work in all the areas of martial arts, find yourself a good team, and just persevere.
Great, amazing stuff. I'm pretty sure all the folks out there striving to become fighters would take a lot of lessons from what you just said. So that was great, champ. Thank you so much for your time. I'm just gonna let you go back to whatever you're gonna do today. Maybe go back to the gym again. So
come on, man, we got work to do, baby. We got work. We got belts to defend. We got new ones to get.
Oh yeah. And lastly, champ, just one favor for us. Do you mind just giving us a chip plug and say, hey guys, this is Phumi Nkuta, the CFC champion, and this is the African fighter, something like that, if you don't mind, please.
Yeah. My name's Phumi Nkuta, the CFFC Flyweight champion of the world, and we are on the African Fighters podcast. Check us out.
Hey, thank you, man. You don't finish work, my brother. You don't finish work.
Come on, baby. One take. They call me one take turbo.
Yeah. Yo, UFC fans, you guys don't know what's coming. You guys don't really know what's coming. Press conferences for the flyweights would never be boring again. I guarantee that.
Never.
All right, champ. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks. All right. I'm gonna end it now. So thank you so much, champ.
Oh, no problem.
All right.
Come on, Africans!